the UK talks tough, along with dang near every country in the European Union. So many of the countries, NATO obviously wants to have this proxy war, wants to have this war with Russia. And, I was just listening to Ron Paul and his channel, which is a phenomenal channel if you don't listen to it. And just looking at my hands as they're peeling here, just doing a bunch of burpees in the on the patio back here. So get after it, get your hands dirty. Quick side tangent, I guess, just trying to put the work in, trying to walk the talk. I talk a lot, I write a lot, right? I go in spaces, I do interviews, I do our channel here that we're all building together and stuff like that, and I talk a lot. And I put out what I think. It's easier to tell someone to do what's right than to do what's right yourself. But, trying to do the work myself, and just threw my shirt on here, honestly. It's literally soaked. It's raining right now a little bit. And, I had my family, I've had, my sister-in-laws, I've had people, I think my brother and my sister just kind of like laugh now. They're like, that guy is just whatever. That's Brandon. He does Brandon things. Seen me doing that for 36 years. But, my sister-in-law's a number of years ago, I would like work out on the patio here in the middle of winter. And it was after COVID happened that I was, we'll get back to Russia in a second, but it was after COVID that things were shut down, and I just stopped my gym pass and I just started working out at home. I've been doing that for the last 3 years straight, just doing a lot of bodyweight stuff, trying to keep my body intact as I get older. And I was doing burpees outside in the snow, in like the ice and stuff like that. And you got to create adversity in your life, because there's only so many things in America that give people adversity anymore. And you can make all the money that you want to make. It's just a matter of doing this, changing your mindset, and you can have the things you want, and it's available to everybody. I'm sorry, but I really don't care what anyone says. It's available to everybody. If you can have people from all walks of life have something that you want, and that's been proven now in America, that's available to anybody, then what are we doing? We have to put in the work. We have to do this. Now, in saying that, with things like Russia, the proxy wars, things like that going on, the UK talking loudly and carrying a little stick, as Ron Paul said, Boris Johnson, killing the peace deal, it looks like. You got to put in the work. You have to put in the work. You have to carry a big stick. If you're going to talk the talk, you have to carry a big stick. You got to be able to back it up. And I'm not someone that likes to generally spout my mouth off. I'm not adversarial, and that's not my purpose. I'm generally pretty introverted, quite honestly. And the only time I ever got in fights in hockey, really, I've been in a few fights outside of hockey in my life, but it was always because I was sticking up for someone else. I don't think I ever got in a fight one time because someone did something to me. I have a long wick, and it takes a lot. But when someone else is getting bullied, or something else is happening to someone, or someone does something to someone else, that's when that sheepdog response in me clicks in, and I jump in, and I try to put the work in. Like, again, Boris Johnson killing the peace deal. Nope, we got to have war. We have to have war. We got to have war, because war is profitable. War is good. War means more executive orders. It means more emergency orders for governments, for leaders of governments. It means more emergency powers. It means more currency printing. It means the backs of the people that are going to be carrying the load, and the government officials get to do whatever they want, and the people get to bear the burden. So we have to put the work in. I think a lot of society, and the point of all this and bringing this all together, is that a lot of society, it doesn't put the work in. You see it in crypto and altcoins. It's proof of stake. Proof of stake is the altcoin world, and it's the fiat world. It's people that just say, hey, I have all the connections, I have all the things, and I get to just sit on it. I'm a squirrel hoarding my nuts, and good for you. Come get them. And in the Bitcoin world, again, my family makes fun of me, right? Everything leads back to Bitcoin. Everything. All roads lead to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin incentivizes meritocracy instead of everything in the world being incentivizing bad behavior in the fiat world and doing ridiculous things and then having to get bailed out at the expense of everyone else. It's the opposite. And so putting the work in is the most important thing. And again, this proof of stake system with Ethereum and all the altcoins and fiat is just more of the same. It's doing the rich getting richer, the good old boys club. And if you don't like any of that stuff, if you like equal justice, though, if you like the better conservation, not being an environmentalist, but a conservationist, like a true hunter, a gatherer, a man or woman of the land, like I was when I grew up, then you're going to love Bitcoin, because it gives equal playing field to everybody. It gives equal rights to everybody. It gives equal wealth opportunities. If you have an internet connection, it gives it goes equal, or it gives a better climate, right? Like taking care of our environment, I should say, not climate. Climate's a captured word, right? But it takes care of the environment and takes care of our surroundings. I try to tell our children, leave places better than you found them, whether it's the room over there or whether it's outside where we're playing. You got to leave places better than you found them. And that was my father. Like we would, hunt and you take care of the land. We plant corn, we plant all kinds of things in our backyard. I grew up on 10 acres, was very fortunate, and planted trees, planted all kinds of things growing up. And now those trees are 30 years old. I literally planted them when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, and now they're 30 years old. And there's these huge trees, and we have tree stands in them now. So life is full circle when you start to like look back and start to realize what's going on, and life being all psychological. You got to create adversity in your life. You have to give yourself some blisters. You have to be able to get after it and carve out, my workouts take 20 to 25 minutes or so, and that's it. Just keeping the body going. And the likes of Boris Johnson, who's gorging on fiat foods and is stuffing himself to the brim with, ho-hos and, who knows what else, and walking with a small stick, a little stick, and carrying a little stick and has a big mouth. Things don't end well for people like that. I saw that in hockey all the time. Guys that ran their mouth all the time, they get their butt beat. I mean, it's just like that was a fact of life. You see it in bars, you see it in wherever. You're gonna get your butt beat if you can't back it up. So the moral story is don't talk. You don't need to talk. We should be getting along anyway. And that's what Bitcoin does. It incentivizes everyone to come together and work, and aligns incentives and incentivizes everyone to come together instead of working and try to battle for resources and hoard their resources. It actually engages people to cooperate, and using nuclear energy, using volcanic energy, using wind and gas flares, and using all these different types of energy. I think that's the biggest thing. I know probably the least about the mining sector and the energy sector, but I know enough to know that's going to change the world. What will change humanity more than anything is Bitcoin mining. So if you have some time this week or something like that, you want to get into that world, check out Bitcoin mining. Just start reading about Bitcoin mining and start looking into Bitcoin mining, because that is going to just completely transform the world. And you're going to have Russia, all kinds of people start pricing commodities and goods in Bitcoin, because it's the control experiment. It's the science experiment from 7th grade. It's the control, the yardstick, the measuring stick to measure everything by. There's only 21 million. So you can divide everything in the world by 21 million always. Today, tomorrow, 10 years ago, 20 years from now, it doesn't matter. And it's never moving. In this fiat world, we have a moving goalpost. We have interest rates moving all over. We have more currency tomorrow than we do today, and we have more today than we did yesterday. So there's always this moving in the denominator. You're all over the place, and that's why business owners and families can't make decisions that help them. And that's why you get people like Boris Johnson and people like Barack Obama and people like whoever, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Trump, Biden. It doesn't matter, right? You get all these players around the world, Zelensky. You get all these guys in Bush, you get them all running their mouths and doing this song and dance to try to, keep, like Trump was advocating for negative interest rates, for crying out loud. That's because you have to keep the fiat Ponzi system going, right? Like it was getting worse and worse and worse. And then finally it was like Nixon taking us off the gold standard in 71. He's kind of like had to almost at that point. And Trump had to too. And then Biden's got to do even crazier things. You got to keep lowering interest rates long term. And, might have another year of high interest rates because they want to crush the economy and crush people. Then I'm going to bail it out. We crushed a bunch more companies of our buddies. Well, don't worry, buddy. We'll bail you out though. But all you plebs, now you're screwed. Sorry. So let me know your thoughts. I honestly think this is a wide ranging. I wanted to tell more stories going forward, but just context. I get a lot of people asking me about stories and my investing career and business career and hockey career and stuff like that. So I'm do a better job of telling stories. Like I said, I get in here and run my mouth a lot. But I feel, my ego, we all have ego, and as a guy, especially have ego. And, I feel like there's some type of point where, sorry, I'm just sweating big time, that, you start to get some type of credibility. You start to get some type of, after years and years and years of not always being right, but of generally having the right direction called of everything, you're gonna have like little small like losses here and there, right? But as you generally have had the call on everything so far, meaning, are we going the right direction as humanity, like towards liberty and free markets, or are we going towards socialism and communism? Well, having those right and saying and calling this for 20 years, saying we're going towards socialism, guys, we're going towards communism, the fiat system is breaking. I've been calling that every day of every year of the last 20 years. So that continues. So like when that's the case, and the game plan at the top and what they're trying to do, reading the great fourth industrial revolution, the great narrative, and all these books, right? The Club of Rome, and going into all this, the direction things are going, so that it enables you to make better decisions in your investing, taking care of yourself, right? And that's why all my learning, all my experience in the world, and then all my learning, those things coupled together and listening to other people, has brought me to don't overcomplicate the process. Be simple. Buy gold, buy a little bit of gold, a little bit of silver, buy Bitcoin. Trade your finite time for Bitcoin. That's it. Start transferring your dollars for real assets. Food, energy, water, seeds, gardening material, guns, ammo, security and land, and start getting out of the system and preparing for what is coming ahead. There are unpleasant things coming ahead. And I'm just trying to be a realist. But if there's not, great. You still have all that wealth. Isn't that amazing? And all that holds its wealth, and it actually increases over time. So there is no downside. That's why people laugh, and it's like, there is no downside, guys. There's literally zero downside. You sleep well at night, your family's protected, and you hedge and grow your wealth over time. It's a beautiful thing. Or you can sit in the dollar and hope your 1 cent in interest each month in your Chase bank account, or your random stock account, or your brokerage account, or your insurance company is going to be there 30 years from now. Good luck. I mean, sure. As my favorite saying is, time always tells. Either you're right or I'm going to be right, but time always tells. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Remember, the UK has, 40 tanks, I believe Dr. Paul said. 40 tanks. So they're talking really a ton, but carrying a small stick. And Russia's got 2,000. I think they lost 2,000, but they have 2,000 more. So be careful. Be careful. If you're going to talk and run your mouth, make sure you can back it up. Make sure you're trying to put in the work. Getting to sleep, eating right, looking right, feeling right, doing the work, doing the studying, taking care of your family, not putting the kids in front of the TV, taking them outside, doing the right things, doing the little things, so that way you can back up what you're saying. Please share this out. I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. The algorithm hates truth, so please share it. Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. Trust, don't verify. And lastly, this is freedom advice, not financial advice. See you on the next one.